World, and welcome to my presentation today. I decided to interview my wife Elizabeth in regards to her brother Scott. He was a good man and we really enjoyed having him. He loved the outdoors. He was very active and always loved to have fun. He had a passion for reading and movies. He absolutely enjoyed the art of storytelling. He was a good friend and I loved having him around. Very supportive. Elizabeth was his caretaker in the remaining years of his life. He had quite a few limitations that came from his problems with type 1 diabetes. His major limitations were blindness, and he had a lot of problems with his back that came from being diabetic as well. His problems with his back came from deteriorating cartilage in his back, actually. It made it so it was very difficult for him to walk and stand and move and caused a lot of pain. They did everything they could to help him medically, but they weren't able to do anything but slow down the process of deterioration. So eventually it was bone on bone, and it was quite a struggle for him. When he was 19, his retinas began to detach and caused quite a bit of blindness. By age 22, he was legally blind. One of the hardest days for Scott was to turn over his license. He was a very independent young man, so to lose the freedom of driving was very difficult for him. Luckily for Scott, he had a sister, like Elizabeth, that was able to help him. It was very hard for him to lose his dependence, but it was good for him to have support from his family. She helped him with his day-to-day activities, visiting the doctor, grocery shopping, etc. Couldn't really do it on his own. He couldn't see prices. He couldn't get his money out of his wallet and pay people properly. People were trying to steal from him on a regular basis, and the way he would move through stores awkwardly on his own, he would get accused of shoplifting, even though he was just trying to read signs and figure out what he needed to do, but he couldn't see very well, so people thought he was suspicious. Some of the assistive technologies he used were on his phone, his tablet, his Kindle, and his television. So with his phone and his television, he could zoom in to navigate the systems. And with his tablet, not only would it zoom in, but it would use white on black text, so he could still read. But as his eyesight deteriorated, he had to go to narrated books. But it helped him be able to enjoy stories still. It was very appreciative and gave him still some spice in life. Something that would have been good for him to have in his life would be an automatic blood glucose tracker in his pump. So it's a little technology that monitors his blood glucose levels, and he doesn't have to do it on his own. It would help him do it, and so he could manage his blood sugar levels properly without having to ask others to help. The problem is this technology was expensive, and it was not deemed medically necessary by the state, so it was something that he couldn't get. Would have helped him a lot, and it would have given him a lot of independence, but he was unable to get that piece of technology. Scott was a good man, and we really miss him. We lost him a few years ago. He really had a lot of struggles, but despite all those struggles, he still remained positive and gave it his best effort from day to day. He was an inspiration to all of us, and we love him and we miss him. So I appreciate the opportunity of sharing a little bit about Scott, and we sure love him.